A lot of the conversations that we have here on this YouTube channel are very positive. I try to be encouraging and support you because I'm trying to get you into action, spending 10 minutes for yourself every day, investing in your physical and your mental well-being. But because I just don't get to speak with you personally and directly, I don't know necessarily all the limitations that are holding you back. So I create these generalized messages that hopefully catch your attention. And I love that. And that's great. This is how I began my journey into personal development. I started by just listening to a podcast. There was a podcast on marketing that I was listening to because my career has been in marketing. And I was considering going out on my own, becoming a freelancer. And so the host of the podcast, she was amazing. And I got so much out of the value that she provided every week. But I remember she did this one special episode where she was talking about body insecurity. She was uncomfortable with how she appeared on video. And at this time, I think this was like 2018-ish, when video was becoming a bigger thing and it was definitely emerging as the ways of doing marketing, she was sharing on the podcast how uncomfortable it made her feel to be on video because she had insecurities about how she looked and how much she weighed, etc. And all of that led her to feeling like there was a need for her in her business to start to be on video, but she wasn't ready for that. So she went out and she hired herself a weight loss coach, somebody who could help her achieve her results. And in doing that, she shared who that person was. I started listening to that person's podcast and I liked them, but they used a lot of foul language and they cussed a lot, which is not my style. So I could only take it in like little bits. And I wanted to go deeper, but I just couldn't handle the language, personal preference. And the lady who did all the cussing, she said, hey, if this ever triggers you, which apparently people wrote in that they got triggered, but she's like, if this ever triggers you and you want to have these kind of conversations on all the concepts about life, not just about weight, then here's who you should go listen to. And she referenced who had trained her, who also had a podcast. And so then I switched to that podcast. And that's when my mind was blown. That's when so much started to change for me. Because all of these kind of conversations, I wasn't having these anywhere else in my life. And that's what I sometimes think about the 10-minute conversations we have here on YouTube, is that maybe you're not having these kind of conversations anywhere else in your life. And so I just want to continue, if you'll let me, being that source, sharing these inspiring messages, sharing conversations that kind of pique your interest, make you think differently, and just open up a different side, a different way of thinking, a different approach. And so that's how my journey into personal development, that's how my journey into life coaching began, was by listening to somebody sharing on a podcast. And eventually that led to so much more because I started to think, how could I apply what I was hearing about? Instead of just forwarding somebody a podcast, how could I start to help my marketing clients who were building businesses coming up against a lot of insecurities because they were having to put themselves out there. They're having to be vulnerable. They're having to share their brand. And that creates a lot when your business is you. So here I am working with these clients and I'm seeing some of the struggles they're having and I'm hearing about this on different podcasts, but I didn't know how to make that connection. And so for me, I went into life coach training, like actually going through an extensive long-term process of training on what it means to become a life coach, to understand your thoughts, to process your feelings, and to how to actually help others do that. I underwent a year-long process and then I joined into another program and went through another series of training. So all I had to say, I put in the work. I made the investment because I wanted to be able to help my clients. And at the time, they were marketing clients. But the beautiful thing is going through all of that changed me, helped improve my life, helped me in all the things that I started to go through. And this has become my journey. So sometimes the work is just to pass through what you're going through in life, learn from that, experience it, and be able to pass on that wisdom to others, be able to share and encourage, to equip somebody else who is now starting that journey in their own life. Because you look at life and you look over in the big perspective thing, you look at history, we repeat a lot as humans. Yes. So we can learn, we can share, we can encourage and equip each other. And this is a beautiful thing. And I relate this a lot to even my time as a university professor, which I've done for over a decade, and the lessons that I have to prepare, the lessons that I study and I get into, which, is in my area of expertise. But I dive into these conversations. I know the material way better than the students do because I have been working through it and now I teach them. But their intake, their ability to absorb it, I have learned, does not just come from me talking to them. It comes from them doing it. It comes from them studying it in a way that they can then teach others. And so I would set up different activities where either as individuals or as groups, they had to do a project instead of taking a test so that they could actually practice it and showcase that they actually understood the lesson, could put it into practical application and create. Or they had to come up and give a presentation in class and share on a particular topic because the work that they did on that presentation really committed the knowledge into their memory and really gave them an application and processing of it so that then they could share it. Because if you can teach it, you know it. There's something about that teaching element and being able to pass on the knowledge that really helps to set it in place for you. And so I share this because what we learn by listening to podcasts and trainings and workshops and here on the YouTube channel, all these things, this is input and this is knowledge that you are gaining and you're taking in. But when you can take that knowledge and you can start to apply it, you can start to do the work, which, however you feel about the idea of work, but actually studying it, applying it, putting it into practice in your life, making real shifts in your life, that's when you get the transformation. There's only so much that just taking it in, hearing about it, reading about it can actually do to change your life, but your life can really create incremental shifts over time when you're practicing it, when you're doing the application. Doing every day for 10 minutes is sharing a lot of knowledge, is sharing a lot of great information, a lot that over time I really believe can have a major impact on you listening to this. However, what kind of transformation do you want? Do you want to feel encouraged? Do you want to have heartfelt messages? Do you want to kind of stay at the surface level? Or do you ever consider taking it deeper, doing the work and getting your questions answered, exploring the thoughts that you're having, letting somebody else hear them and making improvements that can transform your life, that can get you better results, that can help you to tangibly feel better. And that's what I'm so excited to announce today, because beginning December 1st, in 1 week, I am opening up a private space off of YouTube where we can meet, we can exchange, we can talk, and you can get the support that goes beyond these conversations, that goes deeper in what you're learning, what you're applying, what you're studying, what you're growing and evolving through. But the point is that every single month we focus on one area that's a challenge in your life, and we address it and we break it down over the course of the 4 weeks in that month. So every single week, you're getting a new workshop that's addressed to this topic for the month. And you get a workbook that gives you questions so you can do some self-practice, some self-reflection, write down your questions, write down your thoughts. And then every week you get to bring those and we get to have a dialogue together as a collective group of just women in midlife. And we get to have a coaching time together every single week. So you're getting your questions answered. We're deep diving. We're doing the work. The work is the application, and the application is where you get transformation. So we're doing all of this together starting December 1st. And here's the thing. If you join now, and because this also happens to be the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm so grateful for you, and it's Black Friday coming up, which we got to offer a great deal. So I am launching this with an amazing offer for you. Here it is. You get 3 months of access for the price of one. The monthly rate is going to be $97 for all the things, and you'll see all that once you come in. But here's what I'm going to do. If you join in the next week, you get all of December, all of January, and all of February for that one flat rate. $97 for all 3 months. The link to join is in the description, or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen, and that's going to take you to the sales page so you can join with that special offer. And then I will email you all the other details and going deeper, applying it, and transforming your life, moving from here on out into 2026 and beyond. I hope you'll join me. Be sure and scan the code now or visit the link in the description. I'll talk to you tomorrow.